Good morning, Australia. Good evening, USA.
How's it going?
Very good, very good. We have exciting topics actually today. 5090,
Yes.
Errol is going to get a 5090. He's getting sponsored by NVIDIA now. Yeah,
Yes.
nice, huh?
I'm definitely going to get it. Maybe not at release because maybe it's not available. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
You have to be refreshing and see if you can get one. And the thing is, I want to wait for the reviews because here's the problem with the release: you have to buy whatever, and you don't know because they are going to sell out. But I'm not spending that much money without looking at a review and knowing which one I want, because there are many
You
models.
mean the different cards, or no, it's a 5090, but not the Founders Edition. You're talking about Asus,
Yes.
Gigabyte, and MSI, and whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. So usually, what I learned, so the Asus TUF are pretty good always,
Yes.
but you pay a little bit more. Yeah, but
Yes,
yeah,
that's the one I have. I have the 3080 TUF, 12 gigabytes, and the build quality is awesome.
Yeah.
But it does have coil whine.
Oh, okay.
And I don't like that, and that's a common problem. But you see, I didn't watch a review. I mean, I actually watched reviews, and nobody complained about that. But after I got the card and I searched more, other people are actually complaining about that. And actually, Der Bauer, Der Bauer, he's a German reviewer.
Yeah.
He's one of the best. He actually mentioned that it does have some coil whine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna do my research because it's a lot of money. It has to be perfect.
Oh, of course. So how much are we talking about? $2,000?
$2,000. So it may be.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Maybe the MSRP is gonna be $1,800. But if you get an Asus TUF, yeah, that's gonna be more than $2,000 plus taxes. That's even more money.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's always before taxes.
Yes.
I'm just checking how much is this actually here. 4090 in Australia, $4,000.
4,000.
4,000. The price never changed. It was always around that, I mean, I think it was. That's the lowest price. I mean, here's 3,800. That's the Gigabyte. The Asus TUF is $4,000. Bloody hell!
Wow.
People are asking me why did you buy a 4080, not a 4090? Yeah, because 4080 is $1,800.
Yeah.
It's not worth to spend $1,200 more on a 4090. It's not.
And I saw a comment. Some people saying, "Hey, don't support NVIDIA with these prices because they will keep increasing the prices, and we don't want that." I understand that sentiment, but here's the thing. It has always been my dream to have, the best GPU, and now I can finally have it. So I'm not going to, restrict myself just to save the world or something.
Yeah.
NVIDIA is gonna increase the price anyway. It doesn't matter what I, as an individual, do. I understand there are many other people like me that will do the same, and that's why we have what we have. But that's how it is, man.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works.
But I can understand this because at the same time, when I'm looking at the AMD 7900 XTX, $1,600, $1,600, and discount is pretty good as a gaming. I mean, again, if I would just game, I would buy AMD. That's how.
You're saying the Australian? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Australian.
How much is the? So I know I can have a better idea. What is the conversion from Australian dollars to US?
That's a good question. I don't know.
2x, like $2 is one Australian. Like,
right.
So I understand better what your perspective is.
$1.60.
Oh, 1.6.
$1.60, 1.6. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But still, it's anyway. So
how's it going, Mystic? How are you doing?
Mystic.
Yeah, he's gonna get a 5090 for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have a PlayStation 5 Pro. Why do you need a 5090 now? I'm sorry. Of course. Yeah. I don't know. Do I need a 5090? But for what? What games? To play
Yeah.
Indiana Jones with path trading?
No, I mean, the reality is we don't really need, I mean, for the games we have today, we don't really need the 5090. The thing is, I just want to have it. You know, that's is very simple. I want to have, for once at least, if I will ever have a, you know, the best GPU, is the time for me. You know, I think everyone has, depending on, you know, where you are in your life, you know, depending if you're, you know, busy, if you have the cash available, if you have the time to use it or whatever. Everyone is different, and I think this is my time. So this is my time, is my opportunity. I will get it and I will enjoy it. It's simple.
That's my go get it. Full stop. You know, if you can afford it, if you like to afford it, go for it. You will never hear from me. No, don't do it. I don't care. Really, have fun. You know.
But I'm not gonna. But I'm not gonna go on the hype train and tell you, oh, it's amazing, unbelievable, AK. None of that. I'm gonna call out any shenanigans. Let's see what NVIDIA is going to do to try to sell us the 50, the 50 series in general, not only the 5090. And I think, do you have something ready to show us with the
I mean,
the website?
There was this. Let me try to get this on here, and then share screen. This neural thingy thing. And then maybe we can play this. I have no idea. Because apparently there's a new real-time neural appearance, whatever feature for the 50 cards. And I really have no idea what this is about. Really, let's have a look. Just play this. So what is it in general? Is it like... What is it doing?
So we want, basically, it is a way to get higher quality assets, you know, to get higher, you know, more realistic looking textures and assets. Okay. And of course, the challenge when you have higher quality assets is you need more, you know, they are bigger. Basically, textures are bigger. So I think I'm guessing what NVIDIA is going to, the spin that NVIDIA is going to use basically is, we have this new technology, so now you no longer need more VRAM. So we're gonna sell you an 8 GB GPU because it has this technology, maybe. But the thing is, if a game supports this and your GPU doesn't have the capability of rendering things in this way, it might not even work. Of course, I don't think any game is gonna immediately jump and require you to have this, because it wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. But I think that's gonna be the selling point for the 50 series. This neural, you know, rendering thing. It looks amazing, of course. You know how the demos are. You know, ray tracing looks very good on the demos. Not so good on the games, actually. But this seems like it is a great idea. These images here look absolutely incredible. It looks realistic, honestly. Look at the quality of the materials there.
I still don't understand it. So the rendering or the asset in is actually in a low quality, so that it doesn't take so much space and stuff like that.
It's compressing.
And then the card is doing the rest.
But I mean, I don't understand deeply the way this works, but it's basically compression. Yeah. It is like, for example, let's say your HDMI 2.1 cannot do 240 hertz, you know, with full 4K, all the, you know, 12 bits and all that. Then you do, you know, display stream compression. So you compress that, and then now you can do it. So the same thing applies. You know, let's say it would require maybe more VRAM to have that kind of quality or more processing power. But now with that kind of compression, you can now have higher quality assets and higher resolution textures and all of that. So yeah, that makes a big difference.
So is having more VRAM on a card not cheaper than having a whole department working on something new? I don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be cheaper because it's like solving the challenge of needing more VRAM. So on that website, they have some examples. They have like uncompressed example, and then they have the compressed example, and the difference on the megabytes, how big the thing is huge. So it is compressing a lot, and then the quality loss is not very noticeable. So of course you're gonna lose a little bit of quality, but it's not a big deal. So I think it's amazing. So this might be the new thing. So instead of ray tracing, now we have neural. Of course, we're gonna have both. And yeah, so you see those examples. Can you zoom in? Maybe we can. Yeah, you see they have the reference at the right, the top right. No, I'm talking about the pictures. So maybe look at the pictures on the top or at the bottom.
Give me a sec.
Okay. So the materials, the quality of the materials.
It's probably hard to see on the stream.
Yeah. So what they do is they have this this rectangle in the top left corner of the screen, and it's difficult to see the difference with our eyes. And of course, on this live stream, it's not like 4K HDR, nothing like that. But if you go to the website, maybe we can have a link in the description of the video. In the top left corner of each of those pictures, you have like a test pattern that shows you more or less errors, or more or less closer to the real thing. The real thing is the one at the top right. So you see, and also they have how big each one is, how heavy each one is. So you can see the difference in the compression, how much more compressed it is. And I think they also share how much heavier it is. The thing is, this is a big deal because here's the selling point maybe for the 50 series. All of those GPUs, regardless of how powerful they are capable of doing this new thing, which is gonna give you higher quality of the materials and the textures and the realism of the games. So you have to buy the new GPUs because you don't have that capability on your 4090.
So that's the new ray tracing thing. So we don't have enough power to play with ray tracing, and now we have something else. So what are the milliseconds actually saying? Is this the time how long it takes to render this? Because the reference obviously takes the longest, and then we have the 2-layer is just, wow, I don't know, 5 times faster.
Yes.
Which of course is great because that improves maybe frames, whatever, or maybe response time or something like that. That's good.
Yeah, so it basically shows you that this is actually faster, more optimal, of course.
Yeah.
So I think it's great, but NVIDIA, I think they are always trying to find that next thing. They have to make sure that you have to buy their latest GPU, and the more you buy, the more you save.
Yeah. So let's get to a couple of comments. So Truth X7 is writing AMD cards perform much better than NVIDIA cards for Call of Duty. I mean, yeah, that's true. So there are a couple of games where AMD is better than a 4090, for an example. For half the price, by the way, here in Australia, for more than half the price, because we talk about $4,000 versus $1,500. AMD. And that's why my recommendation is always, if you build a gaming PC, go with AMD, in my opinion. So, but I like the stuff what NVIDIA is offering, like NVIDIA Broadcast, NVIDIA the camera tracking. I don't know if AMD actually has this kind of stuff now. what NVIDIA is offering. I mean, of course, ray tracing is still better performance on NVIDIA cards, but question is if you need this. I mean, I have my opinion. It works well on Indiana Jones, the ray tracing always on, but would be, of course, interesting how much more performance you gain when you can turn it off.
Absolutely. I mean, one thing I don't like when it comes to the NVIDIA or AMD competition is potentially when they sponsor a game, they might intentionally, set up the graphics with the developers to make the other one run worse, basically. So let's say, okay, AMD is bad at tessellation. Okay, let's just add a bunch of tessellation. If this is NVIDIA's, sponsor game, so it runs bad on AMD. Even if it's not necessary, they will intentionally try to do something like that. That has happened. Things like that have happened, and I don't like that at all. Of course, that's just making a game run worse just so people buy your GPU. That's terrible. But yeah, NVIDIA is always looking for that new thing so they can sell you their GPUs.
I mean, obviously, that's a company who's trying to make making the most, money as possible. That's how it is. And I mean, you have to admit, the cards or the performance is pretty good in my opinion, but it's not worth the money, compared to AMD. Again, if you're just talking about gaming, it's not worth the money to buy a 4090 compared to a 7900 XTX. It's not.
Yeah, and suddenly Intel might be the one to bring the best value, because at least with our new GPU for $250 is very good actually.
I saw this actually. I saw this review for the it's also it's 12 gigabyte, I think. 12 gigabyte card. So how can you actually have so apparently the 5080 is getting just 16 gigabyte of RAM. That's too low. That's too low. So I have a 4080, 16 gigabyte. You have games where you can max out the 16 gigabyte easily.
I think they are cheaping out on that one. It should be 24, just to keep moving forward, and then the 5090 is 32. That one is those are two confirmed already, because there was two like a one of these pre-built PCs that leaked that. And another place also. So it's 32 gigabytes for the 5090 and 16 for the 5080. That's confirmed already.
Yeah, $2,000 GPU. That's how much they are going for. Holy moly! I can't compare this with the US prices because I really have no idea how much this is in real money. $2,000. But again, a 4090 is a 4090, not the 5090. We don't have prices here in Australia so far. But a 4090 is still $4,000 Australian dollars. And my first car was 5,300 or whatever, here when I moved to Australia.
I think if we multiply that 2,000 by 1.6, that's like
a lot.
That's like 3,200.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. If the 4090 is already 4,000. If the fifth series will be not less, for sure.
No. So it's not, of course, you're not getting the price, exactly, just the conversion to Australian dollars. It's more expensive depending on.
I mean, just to give you an idea, so the G4 65 inch is $5,300 here. So G4 65 inch. So how much is it in the US? That's where you can get an idea how much you actually pay.
Yeah, I mean, the US is still very expensive, $2,500. I did a live stream the other day. We're talking about Samsung, LG. The thing is, Samsung is so much more cheaper here in the US. It's not even close. Of course, I was comparing the S90D with the G4. Some people think that's not fair because the S90D is the budget TV. It's not the S95D, but the S95D has a matte finish. That's why I was not talking about it. It's a deal breaker.
So beam me up, Scotty. Hey, how are you actually? Doesn't the 4090 already max out your TV's refresh rate? This depends what settings you're using. So I'm looking for the discount actually for the 4090, but I'm not sure if I'm look, I'm not sure if because I don't think the discount will be suddenly $1,500 or whatever. I doubt that, you know what I mean? But I would buy one for $1,500, you know, without a doubt. But no, it's not with, you know, I mean, I can use a 3080 and I can have 120 or 144 hertz, you know, depending on the game, of course.
But here's the thing. The reason why I would like to have a more powerful GPU is not because it's necessary. It's because the games look bad. So I want to brute force my way into making the games look good. These games, especially Unreal Engine games, they are looking blurry. These developers are abusing of this, you know, temporal smearing with TAA and all of that. So I want to be able to increase the pixels to brute force my way, so the games look sharp and awesome. Yeah. And I don't think I can rely on the developers changing anything. So I have to just brute force, just put money on it.
Yeah,
make it look good.
So Mr. Walker is writing, 4K gaming needs upscaling, and I will always choose DLSS over FSR for upscaling. So there are two things in this comment. So I agree, DLSS is superior over FSR. It can change at some point, but I doubt it, you know, because DLSS is just so far ahead. But you know, I mean, upscaling is nice because I have seen examples actually where upscaling looks coming from a high base resolution already, let's say 1440p, and then upscaling using DLSS to 4K looks sometimes actually better than native 4K because you have already no aliasing and stuff like that. But I have also seen very bad examples. I mean, I don't know. So I think that in general, actually, a native 4K should look better than upscaled 4K. It should be.
Absolutely. It's not even close. Yeah. So that's one thing that blows my mind. Every time we see a video and, look, you know, DLSS looks better than native. Upscaling looks better than native. So it is magical. And the problem is that TAA was so blurry that, anything can look better than that. But the thing is, TAA is not well set up in many games. The settings at the engine level they are bad. And I was watching the other day a video, Thread Interactive, I think is the YouTube channel. You can Google temporal smearing abuse.
No, not doing
TAA, something like that. That's not the name of the video, but that's the way he talks about this problem. And the problem is the way this engine, especially Unreal Engine, everything depends on TAA, this temporal thing. And the accumulation of frames is necessary for many of the basic rendering techniques and effects. And that makes everything look blurry. So we have to, and I don't think we can fix that. We can try to complain all we want, but the only way is just brute force.
We will see more. So I hope that at some point. So is there any game out there with Unreal Engine 5.5? Not Fortnite. So any other game?
So the thing is, even Unreal Engine 5.5 has it has the issue. The only way to fix the issue is to like do less of the TAA thing and do more. I think they call that forward rendering or something like that.
Yeah.
Make games look like the old games used to look. Because there's no way 4K is blurry. That's the thing. No way. And it
should not be like that, you know.
It should not be blurry. So I mean, that's why I'm getting the 5090.
And that's why
because of the game. If the games were optimized, I wouldn't need a 5090 at all.
So, and that's why. So first of all, DLSS 4 could be announced. Yeah, this could be a big thing. I like. So don't get me wrong. I like upscaling technologies. You know, because they can make a game look better. But again, it should never be that in a native resolution it looks bad. But for an example, with PSSR on the PlayStation, I know that PSSR has a long way to go. You know, it's not even there where we like to have it. But the latest games, you know, what I have tested, Space Marine 2, is such a great example where it actually can go, because the game on the PlayStation 5 Pro looks so much better, sharp, especially in motion. You're not talking about, always be comparing just still pictures, which is wrong. I'm shifting away from this, going more into motion, because this is what you do actually when you play a game. No one cares how a bloody chimney on a house looks like when you just look at this. You know what I mean? No one cares. And I found PSSR, even in this state right now, is so much better than FSR or any upscaling technology used on consoles. And it's just great when they're using it in a proper way. We have bad examples, of course, as well, but the same counts for DLSS, in the very beginning. So, yeah, DLSS 4.
I like DLSS too, and actually, I'm looking forward to see what DLSS 4 is gonna be. I'm looking forward to more frame generation stuff. Hopefully, we can get 4x frame generation, so those higher refresh rate displays can actually be used, because how many games can you run 4K 240 frames per second all the time? Almost none. So we need more of that frame generation stuff.
Yeah, this would be interesting if the 4090 or the 40 series does not support DLSS4 anymore. But hey, I wouldn't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it doesn't. You know what I mean? That's how companies work. That's how companies sell stuff. That's how it is. Full stop. That's why you have a PlayStation 5 Pro, because of PSSR.
Yeah, so I think if that happens, I'm still going to hammer on NVIDIA and say that, they are terrible and greedy and all of that. But what am I going to do? I'm not going to buy the 5090 because they are not going to. I'm not going to suffer myself because of that, because I'm not going to change how things are. So it is what it is. They will still gonna do it.
So Mr. Walker is writing, recent benchmark for Black Ops 6 actually show the RTX 4090 outperforming the 79 XTS with the same CPU. It can happen, depends on the game, really. But I just going to say that, so outperforming in terms of, so don't get me wrong, I know the 4090 is on paper much faster, and in most of the games the 4090 is better, especially when you use ray tracing. But again, here in Australia, the 4090, $4,000, and a 7900 XTX, $1,500. Okay, so this is the difference. So again, if I'm buying, if I'm building a gaming PC, I don't care if I have 10 frames more. If I'm going to build a gaming PC for my little ones, I don't care if they can use ray tracing. There will be an AMD card in, full stop, because I'm not paying so much money, and in the worst case for less VRAM. That's the thing.
Yeah. I think we got the super chat.
Oh, okay.
We got a super chat. George says, do you all know how to disable HDR in The Witcher 3 next gen? There's no toggle option, and I want to run it off. I want to turn it off and test RTX HDR, but I cannot do that. The Witcher 3.
On what platform? I mean, you can always turn off HDR everywhere. So that's a good question. So sorry, RTX HDR PC.
There is a config file where you can. The Witcher 3. There is a config file. In your video, you showed how to actually adjust the paper white on the config file. Do you remember an on and off for HDR there?
No, can't remember. And they changed HDR settings because now you have actually sliders in and whatever. So I'm surprised that there's no on and off. But I haven't checked this game in ages. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I would try change from full screen to borderless. Sometimes when you change to borderless, HDR turns off. So if you do that, then try, your RTX HDR, or try the RTX HDR tweaks. If you force RTX HDR, it might work over the native HDR. But the native HDR was good, wasn't it?
The native HDR since the patch 4, whatever this next gen patch, Well, especially that I think it was patch 4 released for PC consoles, and on the consoles I tested it on PlayStation. It was wow, it was really wow. There was just the issues with the settings, because they didn't work as I like it. But I'm not even sure if they now fixed this, because apparently you have now a peak brightness slider as well. Apparently, maybe I need to check this up again. This game before Witcher 4. Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, but there has to be a way to turn it off, for sure. There has to be a way. Oh, you know what else you can do? Maybe you can try, instead of RTX HDR, if you don't like the native HDR for some reason, you can try this. This is gonna work. I haven't tried on The Witcher, but that engine, I think with that engine works. The Major Paint the Cactus add-on to reshade works if you have HDR turned off on Windows. So if you have HDR turned off on Windows and you open the game is gonna open on SDR. But with the Major Paint the Cactus add-on, it will be you will get HDR. So install Reshade with full add-on support, and then include the Major Paint the Cactus add-on. Then you open it the first time, you make sure you check out that Major Paint the Cactus add-on box. You have to close the game and open it again for it to work, and turn off HDR on Windows to open the game. And that will work even if you have SDR on Windows. So basically you will get this Major Paint the Cactus auto HDR, which looks very good. Even it might look even better than RTX HDR, and you have full control over the tone mapping. You can get higher color saturation, you can get brighter mid-tones, more visibility on the shadows, anything you want. Actually, I was gonna make a video for QD OLEDs. If you want to get those BT 2020 colors all the time, I think the best way I found is this Major Paint the Cactus add-on with the advanced auto HDR tone mapping shader, because you have full control over the colorfulness of the game, and it looks amazing. You can get those BT 2020 colors. So try that and see if it works.
A lot to do to just turn off HDR.
Yeah, sometimes this I don't know why these developers cannot just add a simple option to turn it on and off. It's crazy.
Yeah. This one here, is Marcus Swiss? No, I'm German. I'm not Swiss. Do I sound like Swiss? Really? No. Okay. AMD card, DLSS. I'm still enjoying my 4090, so I'm skipping 50 series. Yeah, wait for the announcement. DLSS 4 just for 50 series and stuff like that. RTX 2 just for 50 series. Yeah, wait for it. There will be always something. You know what I mean? Something. Yeah. But let's see.
Yeah, I mean,
let's
if you already have a 4090, I mean, it's like, unless you have to have the best of the best all the time, I mean, you should definitely skip the 50 series and maybe even the next one too. I mean,
it depends. I don't know. So are we having any reliable benchmarks so far, 5090 versus 4090?
No, not yet. Yeah. The thing is the games. The only reason to upgrade is we have to brute force these games to get a good image. Yeah. That's it. My 3080 for the games that are optimized, with my 3080, I'm very happy. The games look amazing. I have many games that I open, I'm like, this looks awesome. Of course, I would like to be better, but I'm happy, but not all of them.
So yeah, Indiana Jones, 16 gigabyte VRAM is not enough. I agree. This is crazy. This game looks pretty good, with this path tracing. I mean, I tested it, and for me, there's no need to use this path tracing option. It does look in certain situations better, yeah, but sometimes I feel, I don't know if I really need this to, and especially when you lose, I don't know, more than half of the frames, suddenly, So the game is pretty well playable on the 4080 with full details with ray tracing on, but of course not a path tracing. And I'm talking about 4K, DLSS quality, DLSS set to quality, it's always over 60 FPS as far where I tested the game. Okay, so it's pretty good, but path tracing is crazy.
I mean, I saw the benchmark, the 4090 with path tracing. You have to use DLSS performance, and that doesn't look great.
No.
So I don't. That's the thing. So I want to play Black Myth Wukong. That's mainly why I want to get a better GPU. That game looks horrendously bad, in my opinion. Absolutely terrible. And I can just try to brute force to make it look better. And that's why. And of course, I want to play GTA 6, and let's see how that looks. But GTA 6 might not be out next year. They are saying it will, but it might not be ready next year. So this is the YouTube channel. I was talking about Thread Interactive. Do you know this YouTube channel? Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's a person who seems to be very knowledgeable about the engine and all the stuff, and he shares some settings that I tried, and he's right. Like he shares some settings to fix Star Wars.
Okay.
And it does look better, and so he knows what he's talking about. So yeah, he speaks very strongly. Like these influencers outside on the internet, they are not calling this out, and they are like, oh, this is amazing and ray tracing, all of that. It's like, if the game looks blurry, who cares about anything else? See, the most important thing is that the game looks clean, it looks clear. Then after that, then yes, add ray tracing and everything, all you want. But yeah.
So 5090 will be very good for running a local AI on your PC. So why would I do that? So what can I do with a low? Why would I have a wife? There's my local AI already. My wife knows everything, so I don't need a 5090 for that. I like to have a 5090 for playing games. And there was also, just hang on.
Yeah, maybe a way to make money. Like you have a way to sell your computing power or something like that. I would not do that, man. It's like buying a Lamborghini and just renting it or something. I'm like, no. That's for me. Okay. That's just for my enjoyment. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
So Starfox is writing, it's this with graphic cards upgrades the same with mobile phones. Do you really need it? Yeah. Depends. I mean, if going from a 4090 to a 5090 is probably the same going from iPhone 15 to iPhone 16. It's good question. You don't need it. No, of course not. But you like to have it. Yeah,
for sure.
Twinstar Unruly, is the PlayStation 5 Pro worse? I'm having a hard time to either build a PC or buy the Pro, and then don't even know where to start building a PC. Okay, if you never build a PC, then it's time to start or somewhere. It depends. Really, it depends how much money you want to spend.
I would definitely wait for the announcements. I have a friend now, actually. Today I spoke with a friend, and he shows me, hey, look, I ordered a PC, and he showed me the parts. I'm like, that's a good PC, but man, if you wait 2 months more, like we have the new GPUs coming out. He bought a 4070 Ti, which is a very, very good GPU, but I would wait just a little bit to see what NVIDIA is releasing.
Yeah, I would wait anyway now, because the older 40 cards getting cheaper. This will be the case, So I would wait up.
That's another reason. The price of 40 should go down significantly.
Yeah.
Not too much, but just a little bit.
But in this case, it's hard to recommend. So I mean, if you don't have anything right now, if you don't have a PlayStation, no Xbox, and you decide between PC and PlayStation 5 Pro, it really depends what you like to do. So I can tell you that a console is always better for plug and play. Always better. There's no doubt about that. You have to download patches, of course, and stuff like that. And in some games, you have trillion of different graphic options, which is stupid anyway. But it's always better than a PC. But depends what you want to do. With a PC, you can do much more with mods and stuff like that. And
depends what you want to.
Yeah.
For me, that's the main reason to get a PC. The way I am, I open a game and I'm like, why do they have chromatic aberration forced? There's no way to turn it off. So I'm like, I'm not gonna play the game just because of that. So yeah, it happened with me with Armored Core. I wanted to play that game. I'm like, this chromatic aberration looks terrible. So in the console, you cannot turn it off. So it's a problem.
Yeah. Another super chat from George. I will get 5090 to fix blurry games using DLDSR.
Let's go. That's the way to go.
35
that's why, basically. That's the reason why I want to get a 5090. So I'm gonna have that Black Myth Wukong. I'm gonna get all the pixels maxed out, bro. It's just 60 FPS. I'm gonna use Game Motion Plus on my QD OLED, Samsung, and yeah, that should look clear. Okay, it has to. I mean, if it still looks blurry like that, yeah,
something is wrong. And Capona get it, keep your wife happy because then you have a happy life. That's how it works, Always look ahead. You need to be always one step ahead,
So Jay says, do you have an idea, an opinion why LG doesn't add QD OLED to their lineup? They can just add QD to their G and Z series TVs and make C series MLA, so that now both C and G series will be competitive again. I mean, LG is the one pushing their technology. I think they sell their technology to other companies. So if they suddenly say, oh, this is not good enough anymore, I think it devalues a little bit their technology. They want to showcase that actually, WRGB can compete. So that might be one reason. The other reason is you need an infrastructure to do the QD OLED, or maybe they cannot even do that because it is patented. They have to buy it from Samsung. So it's like, if you're trying to compete and now you have to buy from the competition. So it's a lot of reasons. And I was also thinking maybe everyone wants LG to have a QD OLED thinking that it's going to be awesome. Not necessarily, because LG is very good with their WRGB OLEDs, but the mini LED, which I'm not even sure if they have mini LEDs. They have dimming zones, but not mini LEDs. Maybe. They are not very good, actually. I don't even know anything about the LCD lineup of LG because it's terrible. So why are we assuming that because LG is very good with WRGB, why are we assuming that a QD OLED from LG is going to be better than what Samsung is doing? Maybe it will, but maybe it will not.
I mean, just there's no, I don't. Why would it be better? I just maybe in terms of features or whatever LG is offering, but in picture quality, I don't know. I really don't know.
The settings are nice, that's for sure, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I would love LG to have a QD OLED. Absolutely,
yeah. I would like to see they're announcing new technology anyway. Something which is better than QD OLED.
Yes, for CES, now that you mentioned that, for CES, what I'm looking forward, and by the way, this year I'm not going to CES, but probably next year I will. And the reason is I have some family in Vegas. Hopefully CES is in Vegas. So yeah, I go visit the family, and because I have the YouTube channel, I don't know if I have to pay. Maybe I have to pay to go in, but it makes sense to me, and I will, make videos for the channel and all of that. So not this CES, but the next one, I have plans to go. So what I'm looking forward on CES is 3D, man. I want to see 3D. They always have some examples with 3D, like TCL, but specifically, I want to see TCL announcing a release date for their inkjet printed 8K 3D display. That is the most exciting display, in my opinion. It is inkjet printed, is true RGB self-emissive perfect blacks OLEDs that have higher full screen brightness usually. So we're talking about probably 400 nits full screen, not as high peak brightness. 8K, you might think, oh, I don't need 8K, 4K is good enough. Here's the thing. Because it is a 3D display and it's going to be passive 3D. When you do that passive 3D, you lose half. You cut in half the resolution.
Yeah.
So you go from 8K to 4K like. So yeah, that's a very, very interesting display. I would like to hear more from that, and hopefully other companies also bringing 3D back. I think it's a no-brainer. 3D game. Wouldn't you buy a TV if it has 3D and it works for every single game and without glasses even? Like glassless 3D. That would be awesome.
I mean, if the quality is good, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
That's the next thing then. You know,
and the quality. No, the thing is, the quality is very good because I've watched already some videos. There are some glassless 3D displays out there, and they say that they pop, and it's amazing. Like the things go out of the screen like big. You feel things going out of the screen popping. And a lot of reviewers, when they are reviewing a display, they say, "Oh, this TV looks 3D. It has a 3D." I want the real thing, Yeah. I want 3D. And I played with passive 3D with an old Sony LCD TV, which looks like 720p, and it was awesome, absolutely amazing. So yeah, I want that.
I want so many things, I don't know, but I'm happy right now. I'm happy.
Well, you know what you can do with the VR headset. You said you were thinking on ordering a new.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, still not ordered. You know what I mean? No.
You know what you can do with VR headset and Reshade? You can get 3D on almost every game.
Oh, okay.
Because there is a way you can open any game. So basically, connect your headset as if it was a monitor. Yeah. So you can have a big screen in front of you, as big as you want, with your VR headset. And then with Reshade, there is a simulated 3D that works. Okay. I played Elden Ring like this, for example, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Like you see everything popping. It's amazing. So yeah, but it's not OLED. I have the Quest 2, but it was awesome.
Okay. Hey, with the, you know what? CES 2026, I think we should both go there, huh?
Let's go.
Let's go. I stay at your place because then at least I saved the hotel.
Let's go.
I think that's a good thing. Why not 2026? We can make it happen. That's
let's go and let's invite. Let's go with
in layman
terms too, and
then we're getting invited.
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know if they give you a discount or something because you have a YouTube channel, or they let you in.
I have no idea.
I have to ask TKK. He went to the previous one. I have to ask him if he had some privileges or for having a YouTube channel. Renault says Ariel buying a 5090. Can't wait. Me either, man. I cannot wait to have that. It's a dream. It's a dream. So that's it. Just a
what
dream.
Power supply are you getting for this one?
So I was going to mention that. So here's the thing. Coil whine also happens sometimes because of the power supply. Okay. We never know. We have to test that. But the thing is, I believe the power supply I have is good enough, and I am actually going to try it. But if I see any issues, the worst thing can happen is like it turns off or something. Then I'll get a new one. But I have a 750 watts, and I know
this will not work.
I know that's below specs, but it's a very good. It's a Seasonic Gold and rated power supply. I think it will work, and I will actually show that. I think it's not going to have any issues because the thing is, the rest of the system that I have is not very power hungry at all. I have the 5800X 3D.
Let's see.
So what I'm going to do is I'll get the 5090, see if it works with what I have. If it doesn't, then I get a new power supply. And if I am missing out more frames because my 5800X is not fast enough, then I might have to get a new CPU.
Get your 5090 and downclock it to 50% of the performance. It will work.
Yes, that's another option, but I'm not gonna do that. Of course, I'm gonna do that while I wait for the new power supply. I might have to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame to it's like it's like buying a Lamborghini and driving in eco mode or something like that. It's like, you know.
Yeah, of course that. Of course, yeah. Now I put a 1200 watt in my PC when I built it. 1200 watt, because you buy the power supplies are anyway so expensive now, and I'm going always with Be Quiet. I'm very happy with this brand. And this time I said, yeah, okay, what does the 4080 needs? I think is 850 or 750 the minimum. I think 850, or that's the recommendation at least. And I said, okay, I'm going to upgrade anyway at some point. I need 1000. Nah, let's go with 1200. 1500 was a little bit over. I hope that 1200 is fine. And for
no, that's overkill, of course. I mean, that's super overkill. But yeah, it's nice. It's gonna run, like easier and maybe even better efficiency because of that. You never want to run the power supply max out because it's not efficient.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I'll try it and see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see. This would be an interesting video, when it turns on and poof, everything goes off. Say, okay.
Yeah, I wanna comment on this one. Dan says, Ariel, I feel like those shader compilation traversal stutters are going to hurt a lot more. That's that's gonna be a rant for sure. If I get a 59 and I start seeing stuttering everywhere, yeah, of course I will still see stutters, and it definitely is gonna hurt a lot more for sure. So yeah, dishing out $2,000 PS5 Pro plus physical copies plus extra is the better option in my opinion. I mean, it's of course, but the thing is, PC, I want to mod the games, I want to change everything, and that's why it's just the ability to mod. And for example, right now I was gonna share, I'm probably gonna make a video about it. Now that I have this QD OLED, I'm trying to get those colors, and with auto HDR and these tweaks, you can get exactly what you want. You can get the brightness and the colorfulness that you want, and that's awesome. That's why I love PC.
Yeah, PC has, but in this case, I don't know. I mean, you're paying $2,000 just for GPU, but I don't know if a PlayStation 5 Pro is better. Of course, in terms of price, yes, it's better, but in terms of gaming, compared to the graphical quality of a 5090, no, it's not. For sure not.
Yeah, it's not gonna come even close.
No.
But of course, obviously, the price difference is huge.
It's crazy.
Huge. Yes.
Yeah, and Quad will wait for $3,000 6090. Let's wait for the 5090 first, and then we comment on the 6090. So let's wait.
Yeah, so my case here is using a CS-Sonic 550 watts gold with a 4070 Ti and a 5800X 3D without any problem. Yeah, it's really not. It's not really that necessary. The thing is, here's my opinion: if your power supply has the amount of PCI Express power cords necessary for the GPU, it should work, and it does. It actually does work. So maybe if you start overclocking and you're getting also a very CPU hungry, maybe it's not gonna work. But yeah, I think it's going to work. I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with it. But let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, no. I wish you all the best. Putting your $2,000 GPU on a.
I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? It just catch on fire or something?
Yeah.
That's just $2,000 down the drain. Not a problem.
I saved $100 for the PSU. Oh, good. Usually if you have a good one, the worst thing what can happen, it turns off. That's the worst thing. Yeah. Oh my god. Here, PlayStation 5 Pro is a huge miss. Huge miss or huge mess? You need mess? I would go. Yeah, I would probably confirm with mess probably at the moment. I'm still not recommending to buy one if you have a PlayStation 5, because it's no point to for a little bit better picture quality. No.
Yeah, after the hype at the beginning, I think. Now people are starting to see some of the issues and downsides, and the PSSR is not as good as maybe people were expecting it to be. And yeah, this is what I want. We need asynchronous reprojection. Actually, man, I'm crossing my fingers. DLSS 4 frame generation is using asynchronous reprojection. So let me tell you how good this is. Imagine that it does. So imagine this, NVIDIA with the 50 series GPUs, they can max out the refresh rate of any display, no matter what the frame rate. Just imagine that. It doesn't matter which GPU you buy. If you have a 480 hertz OLED display, you will always get 480 frames delivered to your display. And the only difference, it doesn't matter if your GPU can render even 30 frames, it's still going to work. So the only difference is gonna be you're going to get more or less artifacts, and that's it. Input lag is gonna be perfect. A lot of people mention, I don't like frame generation because it adds input lag. Okay, asynchronous reprojection it doesn't add input lag at all. It makes whatever frame rate you can get feel like the maximum frame rate your display can get. So just imagine that. You just buy a 50 series GPU, you always get the maximum FPS no matter what. That's what we need. It sounds impossible what I'm saying, but this is something actually you can test today. There's a demo that you can use. Actually share that in one of my videos. You can download the demo and you see 30 FPS looking like whatever is your display, max out. And it looks unbelievably good. Of course, 60 looks a lot better, and more than 60 is even better, but that's it. You just need 60 FPS, and that would be awesome. So yeah,
so
hopefully.
5090 pulls 600 watt with max power limit. Okay, it's not too bad. You know, so you have 150 left for all the rest. It should be. Don't use any fans inside the case. You know, so just.
Yeah.
So that's something for you.
Yeah, Ariel responded to a comment I made on his last live stream regarding why QD OLED look more real than RGB. What does Marcus think about the fact that a polarizer might be the cause? So,
good question.
I don't know if you feel this, Marcus. My first impression with the LG C1, I didn't like the colors. Coming from a plasma TV, I was feeling that something was off. Maybe the calibration, maybe because the C1 was crushing blacks or whatever. But now that I got the QD OLED, I'm like, okay, I think this is what it was. It's RGB. That W looks weird to my eyes. It's something that I can feel that something is off. Like, I'm not looking at the real thing. It looks a little bit fake. I don't know if you feel something like that. I'm not talking about QD OLED is more colorful. So my point is 100 nits. No BT2020 color, just Rec 709, 100 nits, just something normal. If you compare WRGB with QD OLED, they are both calibrated. They look exactly the same when it comes to the accuracy and everything. But for some reason, just QD OLED looks better.
Yeah, so I have the feeling that I don't know what the right word is in English, but it looks a little bit more. If realistic is the right word, yes, but it looks more 3D as well. You know, it looks a little bit authentic. You know, so I don't know if this is really because we're using this white pixel on LG TVs all the time, and it's just changing the picture, or maybe because we have a different. What's the word? So on camera, the LG OLED TVs appearing bluish, and the Samsung TVs appearing red. I think that's how it is, yeah. Or maybe vice versa. I think that's how it is, yes. So, and maybe that's also, of course, you will see this as well, and in your eyes, because if a camera can catch this with the same settings, of course, you're not changing settings, then your eyes will see the same thing, but your brain, of course, is doing something different. Maybe the RGB layout or the how in what nanometer actually the colors are, you know, on the Samsung or QD OLED TVs is better for your brain, better for your eyes. You know what I mean? Maybe it is more realistic to outside. You know?
Yes, I think the way they look on camera, I can see that in person too. Of course, I think the camera exaggerates that a lot.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
But I can also see that in person. But I am not sure if it is the RGB. So what Dan was asking is maybe it's not RGB versus WRGB. Maybe it is that the QD OLED doesn't have a polarizer. So that was his question. He was basically reflecting, okay, maybe it's not what you think it is. Because I love the way my LG C1 looks, because it has that polarizer, it looks more black. But maybe because of that thing that I love so much, maybe that's the reason why it looks kind of weird if you remove that polarizer. But here's the G4. The G4 is completely different. So if that's the reason, that's why I think your input here would be very interesting. If you compare the G4 with your G2, if you notice that the G4 looks more, you know, realistic might be the word. Even if it's not bright, not comparing the brightness, like if you normalize the brightness and everything, and calibration, even if you can see that, that's different.
It's very hard because I would need to have the G4 next to the G2 to see it, because, you know, walking out from the G4 to the G, it doesn't work like that, because your brain is just making stuff up, you know what I mean? So, and it's the same with the S95C, what I have. So I can just tell you, when I'm watching HDR material on the G4, I'm blown away. But the same happens when I'm watching this on the S95C. You know, well, even on my G2, the G2 is a fantastic TV. There's no doubt about that. You know, the CX, of course, now falls down the drain, unfortunately, because, you know, now you have so many years between CX and the G4, you know. I mean, there's no, it's not fair anymore. But it's very hard to say, you know, if the G4 or G2 is more realistic, you know what I mean? It's really hard. So maybe, the problem is 65-inch, you just can't take them and put it next to each other, you know what I mean? It's a lot of work. And
so the thing is, whatever it is, you know, whatever the technical reason, the thing is, that's what I see, man. And I'm not telling you, I'm not saying that to, I mean, I'm saying that with full honesty. Like, I don't really benefit if you buy a QD OLED or WRGB or whatever. It doesn't make any difference for me. I'm sharing exactly what I see. And what I see is QD OLED looks more like the real thing. Aside from it being more colorful, like I'm saying, same brightness, same colorfulness, you know, let's say, you know, same calibration. I don't even know if that's possible. It might not even be possible to perfectly match two completely different technologies like that. It looks better for me. Plasma actually looks awesome. That's why I always praise Plasma TV, because with Plasma TVs, you realize that brightness is not the whole thing. Plasmas are very dim, especially, I mean, this Pioneer Kuro I have is 80 nits, less than 80 nits full screen. That's so dim in comparison. It looks awesome. It doesn't matter. So, yeah.
I know what you mean. But again, it's very hard to answer the question which one is really. I don't know, really. I would need to have a proper side-by-side comparison, but it's so hard to actually realize this or make it happen, you know. So I don't know.
That's why I'm excited to see inkjet printed. I cannot wait for TCL or any other company to come out with inkjet printed OLED, because maybe I'm gonna look at that, I'm gonna be like, wow, this is next level. This is even better. You know, when it comes to the realism.
So this is actually something, we really need to touch a little bit. Heat, you know, with electronic stuff. So what I found is, so first of all, the G2 and my G4 are producing amount of heat, crazy heat. You know, you see it, the CX is actually fine, but I can feel this when I walk in front of the screen. It's not hot, but it's warm. You can really feel, you know, the whole area is getting warm. You know, the same with the S95C. This is just, you know, heating up the room like crazy. That's why at some point I installed the aircon here, because in the summertime the EVAP aircon was not. It's not enough. Full stop. So 5090, yeah, will push out a lot of heat. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I wanted to comment on that too. The S95C, especially after I did the mod and I stress tested a lot to see image retention and all of that. And I was feeling the heat coming out of the screen for sure.
Yeah.
This S90D is so restricted by Samsung. It's crazy. Like, no matter what I do with this S90D, it is not getting hot. And the difference is big. Like, it is so restricted. I wish there was a way to unlock this thing, because it's so heavily restricted in brightness by Samsung. It's crazy.
So beam me up, Scotty is running the energy bill going crazy with the 5090. Better get some Tesla solar panels. I mean, I couldn't care less what my stuff is using, to be honest. But I agree. You know, I have solar panels. I have a battery. It helps. It helps because otherwise my wife would go crazy. Because, you know, she used to have, you know, before we moved together many years ago, she used to have probably $50 bill, you know, electronic, and now. Yeah, but that's how it is, you know. Yeah, it takes a lot of energy, yes, but if this is your hobby, don't bother. Don't know how much is power, you know, in US. Is it affordable?
In the summer I paid $240
monthly.
Yeah. Okay. Of course it changes to over $200 during the summer. And now during the winter it's a lot less. It's like $100.
So how are you heating in the winter? Is it gas?
It's a gas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's gas. So yeah.
Just what is this one here? Seriously, thought would really recommend 1000 watt power play PSU with all the 80 and 90 GPUs, especially if you have a powerful CPU sucking power as well. I mean, I would always, you know,
my CPU is not very powerful at all. It's like
5800, right?
5800 X3D is less than 100 watts most of the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. You should always try maybe to get to drive your power supply in the sweet spot, which probably is around 80% or whatever. You know what I mean? Because going too less, going too high, or whatever is not good for what is the name? For the performance in general, for the power supply, you're using too much current then for the performance actually, you know. But you know, how can you know this? You know what you're using actually. It's not simple. Okay, we have a lot of comments between 5090 and whatever power supply we should use. Oh, here, this one. I tried to calibrate a 65-inch LG G3 from a friend last week, although I can definitely see the brightness versus my 55-inch. I can't say I was impressed by the difference. It's not enough to make me upgrade. No, absolutely not. I would say the same. Yeah. There's no point to go from a G2 to a G4. No point. Just save your money.
There's one thing that's very important for movies, because I've been watching actually some Netflix with the family. Actually, I already have one of the TVs upstairs in the living room, and I've been watching some movies. And these movies on Netflix are not pushing brightness, are not pushing enough brightness. It's like 600 nits or below. So the thing is, when you compare these TVs with content that is not graded to make these TVs shine, you don't see the difference. Like, how many movies do you have that are 1500 nits graders or something like that? I think most of them are way below 1000. So then that's why I understand now why many people just use dynamic tone mapping. And because, of course, definitely use active tone mapping, dynamic tone mapping, so you can push more brightness. Because the content is not very, very bright. So I think you need gaming, and you need gaming fine-tuned for your display to see the difference. And the difference is there all the time, and it's big. You just need the right content, basically.
Yeah. So just watch Lucifer on Netflix. Lucifer has great HDR. I don't know how it is graded, but I fully agree with you. You know, when sometimes you watch movies and there are even the HDR logo pops up. You have the feeling, no, that's I don't know what this is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now we have much more than 1000 nits, and you can immediately see the difference between good graded HDR series or movies versus a bad one. You know. So, but try Lucifer.
I'll try that one.
I saw the later seasons. I don't know, is it season 5, episode 3? They have just try it, you know, the later seasons, not the first ones, because I think even the first ones didn't have HDR support, if I'm not wrong. There was something, because this show is going on for quite some time. But give it a try.
Now that I have a more critical eye, because before I used to watch movies like, okay, I don't care about settings, none of that. Now I look at everything differently. Yesterday I watched a movie that's number 1. It was number 1 on Netflix. It was called the Carry On.
Oh, I watched this. The movie was good.
Yeah, the movie was very good.
It was good.
But man, the film grain on that movie is so awful.
Yeah,
why they do that?
I don't know.
It makes the movie look like crappy quality, and they do it in some scenes, and other scenes they don't do it. And also, the beginning, you know, some scenes of the movie was too dark. Like even the family that doesn't care about none of that, like, okay, I cannot see well this. I'm like, yes, the director messed it up. Like, I don't know why they do this. So yeah, it's the thing. I start to realize all these decisions that they do, and it's not good.
Yeah. Let's try to answer this one. Gang08. People say you need an OLED to see the PlayStation 5 Pro difference. However, anything look better on an OLED opinion. Anything looks better on an OLED, full stop. But you don't need an OLED TV. It's really just about the size actually from the TV or screen, in my opinion. Because the difference between the base PlayStation 5, and I know I'm getting a lot of hate for this, but I don't care. But the difference is not as big as people would like to see it. And the same for me. I would like to see a bigger difference for the money I spent, but that's the truth. You know, so there are a couple of games out. Space Marine 2 is a very good example how much better the PlayStation 5 Pro can look. But other games like Avatar is still a mess, you know. Now they're putting options in that you can turn off PSSR and use FSR or the original upscaler in the game, which is a very clear sign that not every game can use the upscaling technology. You know?
I was hearing the Mark Cerny interview with the Digital Foundry, and Mark Cerny. I'm not sure if you watched that video. One thing that that I didn't like is Mark Cerny has the same opinion as Digital Foundry. This idea that we are in the post-resolution era and resolution doesn't matter anymore, and then you just have to look at the way the games look. I mean, of course, I agree with that part. You just need to look at the final result. But that perpetuating that concept is bad. And the reason why it's bad is because resolution does matter.
Yeah, of course.
The reason why it becomes irrelevant is because of the issues we have today. We see so many games 4K that don't look like 4K. They look very blurry.
Yeah.
And the reason why they look blurry is because they are not being very careful implementing and fine-tuning TAA, because there are some games who look okay with TAA. I much rather have just raw pixels everywhere and reduce the scope of the games. But it can happen. But it is so easy to get wrong, and so many games look so blurry and so messed up. So yeah, they are on the same train. They are on the same direction of just keep the same problems we have today. Of course, I'm sure they don't want their games to look blurry. There was the Insomnia developer and Mark Cerny, and Ratchet & Clank looks absolutely amazing. So I'm sure they liked that, and I wish all the games look like, you know, Spider-Man and Ratchet & Clank, but they don't. That's a problem.
Yeah. So, but in this case, just get a big screen, you know, regardless. But I still recommend OLED, of course, over LCD. I would never go back to LCD. for really watching or playing games. That's how it is.
Yeah, no way.
You know?
Actually, I was so excited with the VR headset, and at the beginning, I was like, "Man, this is awesome." But then I lost a little bit of the interest because of it is an LCD. Even when it looks so clear in motion, it's so awesome. But those perfect blacks is so hard to go back from that. I mean,
yeah. No, that's my thing as well. You know, even if you have a very good LCD with local dimming or whatsoever, there's no way you can reach OLED quality. Never ever. Dan is writing, recently got some black curtains to cover up my white walls, and it really added to the immersion. I know Ariel has a complete dark room, but will Marcus consider painting his white walls black? No, he will not, because it's a lot of things and it wouldn't look nice, to be honest. So I know if I would have just a cinema room, I would have black walls. Absolutely correct. But in this case, no, I'm not going to do that. No.
And actually, let me tell you, this is a basement. Okay, I don't have a room on the house like that, and it was like that already. So when I was looking for my place, I found this one. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I have a dark room, but I didn't actually invest and paint the whole thing. And it's not only painted black; it is matte, so it's not reflective.
So do you know what the room was used before? No, we don't know.
Yeah, it was used for a professional for photos and stuff, I believe. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was set up like this for a professional. Yeah, that's why. Hey, we have Brian's Tech Therapy here with a super chat.
Unbelievable. Where is he, Brian? Why can't I click on this?
I'm clicking on it. It's not working.
Oh no, it's always sometimes doesn't work. Here we are. Brian, hey, how are you? Keep up the great work, guys. Hope to see you at CES 2026. We're going there. We just decided.
Let me tell you this, man. One of my biggest motivations to go to CES is to meet you, FOMO, and all the content creators that go there, and just make some videos together. And
what do you mean videos? Yeah. I thought we were going to drink.
No, I don't drink none of that. But yes, I am. That's one of the main reasons, because just to know about the news, I can just watch the videos, and that's good enough. But yeah, it will be so awesome. So yeah, let's do it. Let's go there.
Yeah, 2026. Okay, that's done. We're going. 2026 it's always in January, so we can make this happen.
Let's go.
Absolutely cool. Thank you very much for the super chat, Brian. So check out his channel. He's doing great stuff with FOMO. Funny person, and always the latest TVs,
Absolutely. Brian does a great job. He shows you especially the heavyweight division, because he cannot go down from 85-inch, so it needs to be the big ones.
Size
so yeah, he shows the biggest TVs. 97-inch LG G4. It's just insane. I watched a video the other day. Forgot the content creator. He got that 97-inch G4, and just imagine playing 97-inch wall. That's just amazing. That G4 doesn't have the MLA though, but I think it is. They are pushing it harder. It might be even going beyond 1,000 nits, but I'm not sure.
I can just tell you that size really matters. Joke aside, it really matters if you play on a 65-inch G4 or 83-inch. It really, even the 83-inch has not the same maximum peak brightness because of some limitations, but because now you have such a big screen, it just blows you away. That's how it is,
Absolutely. But one thing I have to say, most of the time I see the big TVs wall mounted and very high from the ground. And I get it. Like on the living room, I had the 65-inch a little bit higher than what I use it here, and it does look bigger. Actually, I don't know why. It looks kind of bigger if you have it higher. If you put it lower, it looks smaller. But I think it's uncomfortable to have to look up. To the TV.
All my friends said that my TVs are too low, whatever, until they sit down and then realizing they're not.
Yeah, let's make it happen, man. Let's make it happen. So the thing
2026,
is,
full stop, we do it.
the thing is, my family just came back from Vegas.
Not
So
an excuse.
I think, and I didn't go. So
No.
maybe next year we're planning to go at a different time, and let's do it.
Now we need to plan this ahead because of all the flight and stuff. I mean, not for you, but for me, of course. You know, coming from Australia to US is a bigger story than just going, you know, a couple of. Let's see, but we make it happen. Why not?
Yeah,
you know?
That'll be awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, and CES also, on CES they have the micro LEDs and all the big TVs that you will never be able to buy, and I would like to see that. I would like to see
take one
those.
home in the airplane. 85
Yeah.
inch.
For example, the glassless 3D, they had that last year. I would like to see that. That's the thing I'm more excited about. I want to see those glassless 3D inkjet printed displays.
Yeah. God, yes, I will sign up for micro LED. Just need to find 100,000K. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's great.
Look between my couch cushions. Yeah, I don't know when we can see the. I don't know. You know, that's a long way to go. Let's see. But I'm interested. You know what's coming up. You know, this CES is probably not even very interesting. You know, in terms of new technology. You know, not that maybe. You know, because there's another G5 which doesn't change anything. You know, 165 hertz refresh rate. That's the only thing I know so far. That's not a big improvement from 144. So no point to buy this one. And I'm not sure about, the rest, if they're pushing brightness even more on the RGB OLED, the picture will be more whitish, and blowing out colors. That's, I don't know.
Yeah, so I think the most the best thing would be Samsung having that same 3000 nits QD OLED panel that they have with the S95D on the S90F. If they can make that happen, even if it doesn't come fully unleashed, but making sure that you can actually get the 3000 nits, that would be the best. Because if you can get a $1,700 S90F that you can go up to 3000 nits on the service menu, that would be nuts. So yeah, and if that doesn't happen, at least the S95F to have a glossy finish, it will be the best. And I would like Samsung to eliminate the One Connect box because the potential issues, and also they have to fix the sound. They have to fix the sound on the 95 because the buzzing of the back is very bad.
Yeah. I agree with you. So I'm not sure. I mean, with the One Connect box, I have two minds. On the other hand, it's really good to have this if you just want a wall mount and you just have one cable, but on the other hand, it should work. It should work. That's the problem. Yeah. That's the thing.
Or having as an option. I mean, I'm all about options. Have a matte finish, glossy, One Connect, no One Connect. And they will see.
Making money like you. If you would have a company, you would be already broken.
For sure.
But I agree with you. But the reflection or the coding on the TVs is the biggest thing. So here on the G4, it's the coding is completely different to the G2. Again, it's reddish, it's magenta. You know what I mean? Which can be distracting sometimes. Especially when I do some testing actually during the day, and I like to have a little bit light in the room. It's complete different experience to my G2. It is, unfortunately.
Sorry, go ahead, go finish it.
No. That's just. I would like to have a black screen again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So even it's more like a mirror, but it looks better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They improve a lot with the third generation QD OLED. The way the reflection looks is less magenta. I compare the S90D with the S90C, and the S90C I have has a first generation QD OLED panel, and the reflection looks clearly magenta if you shine a light. like a studio light. And the S90D looks a lot better. It looks a lot less magenta, more like a mirror, which is better. But still, of course, you have the raised blacks. And actually, inkjet printed OLED, my biggest concern with that is that some rumors say that you don't have perfect blacks with inkjet printed, especially at 4K, because of the distance between the pixels or something like that. But at 8K, that gets kind of fixed. So that might be a concern. Like if you don't have perfect blacks at all, then that's a no-go, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I can't go back. That's one of the thing, you know. I can't go back to any LCD thing because of the perfect blacks. Not just because, don't get me wrong, you know, because people always, local dimming has perfect blacks. No, it doesn't. It has not. So because you can't have perfect black like OLED with local dimming, it doesn't work. Because your local dimming area is like this big, and you just have one pixel to show, it will blow up everything. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah, and but this one is an OLED, so you're expecting an inkjet printed OLED to have perfect blacks, and it might not. Depending on the size and the resolution, it might have some raised blacks. Even when it does have a glossy screen that looks very, very good.
Oh, there's one here. There's one giant room when you go to a big convention, bring hand sanitizer and keep applying it. Many people get sick after a huge convention. Oh, okay. Shaking hands or whatever, you know, maybe. Yeah. He can be right. Absolutely.
That's okay, man.
Absolutely.
That's okay. I'm not, I don't really care.
Let's get sick at the CES. Best would be on the first day, you know what I mean? And the rest of the week, nah, okay, it's not good, of course. Oh my goodness. So, okay, what else do we have? What's the price of the 5090? Probably up to $2,000 US dollars.
No, I think Jensen is gonna say 1,800, but then you're not gonna be able to buy it at 1,800, and then the board partners is gonna be like 2,000 and beyond that. If it's 2,500, I'm not buying it. Okay, that's just too much. I have on my mind, I have $2,000 out the door. If it's more than that, I'm gonna wait. It's just too much. Yeah, I think it's 2,000 is already way too much, but I'm not gonna pay them.
That's for you,
Ariel. I did an Anapic mod on S95B. Now is my HDR black floor turns to purple-ish. How can it fix this? Already did set everything to default, no problem, stay. And my wife is angry. Okay, so with the S95B, there is an additional setting that you have to change, and I didn't mention that because you don't have to change that on the S90C or S95D or S90D. I forgot the name of the setting, but that setting needs to be changed on the latest firmware updates of the S95B. And you did mention, I was going to answer your comment, but I was trying to find that information to reply to your comment, and I couldn't. I was out today with family. So I will find that and I will reply to you with that information. I forgot the name of the setting, but that setting was supposed to fix EOTF tracking, which of course it can definitely fix the raised blacks. But here's the thing: if you have raised blacks, you can crush that very easily. So first try the setting I'm going to share with you. I have to find it. But after you try that, if you still have that issue, make sure that the black level is set to 128 on the service menu. When you open the WB movie menu where you change the EOTF tracking settings, you have a contrast and brightness setting. That brightness setting is the black level, and it's set to 128. If you have raised blacks, you can just give it one click down, and it's gonna give you the perfect blacks back. So you have to test that on a dark room. I'll try to help you. I will find the setting and I'll try to help you and see if that works.
Okay, I still haven't done it on my S95C. I'll still wait. No, just buy a new TV probably. It's probably safer. Probably safer. No. Nah. Anyway, let's see. I'm not sure. I'm pretty happy with the S95C.
If you're happy, don't do it, man. The thing is, it's not a big difference for the peak brightness.
Yeah.
It's not a big difference that we can see, but yeah, I would do it, but it's not. I mean, the risk. I don't think the risk matters a lot at all. Actually, it's okay, but yeah, if you're hesitant, don't do it. Don't do it.
No. At some point, maybe. At some point, maybe. But just to check anyway. So, guys, any last? Because I like to finish. It's 1 hour 30. So finally, or slowly come to the end. So any last wishes or whatever, especially from Ariel? Should he dance or whatever? Sing? He can play a song actually. Haven't seen a guitar video in a while, actually.
Oh, I have to. Yeah, I have to make another video. Yes, I've been practicing. I will have to make another video one of these days.
It's just you telling us, but there's no proof. So
I will make another video.
No worries. Oh my God! So what's your plan for the rest of the weekend? It's what is here today? Sunday is here. Yeah, Sunday.
I want to. Actually use my TV because I've been testing only, changing settings. Actually, I don't feel very, very happy because I was not able to match the calibration using my eyes. I couldn't do it. I've tried, and I finally, I have two 65-inch S90C, S90D. Here's the problem: the S90C is brighter. Okay, significantly brighter, full screen, and the peak brightness too. So that's just a difference from maybe the restriction that Samsung did on the S90D, or maybe panel to panel. Not sure which one. So S90C is first generation. The screen uniformity is also better than the S90D that I got. So those are two big things. A little bit brighter, better screen uniformity. When I tell you better, I'm talking about almost perfection. Even near black with full screen gray slides is so perfect that I cannot even tell you. I cannot even call out any defects. It's that good. But the calibration of the S90D is so much better. It looks so much more natural, and I was trying to match that. The other thing is the S90C is crushing blacks a little bit. The S90D is not. So I have that shadow detail. I have that calibration of the white balance and the colors, and it's so perfect to my eyes. And I thought, I am good with calibrating, changing settings. I will match them and make them look the same. I couldn't, not even close. Of course, I call my family and, hey, take a look at this. Which one do you think is better? They said, they both look the same. But to my eyes, I know that
you spend days, and
exactly. So, but I know they are not the same. I know what the difference is, but my family cannot tell the difference. So it's that close. Yeah. But I'm talking about the small details. And yeah, I couldn't do it. So I had to decide, okay, let's just leave it there. The S90C is already being on the living room. It's already being used. So I couldn't keep waiting because it's never gonna end. I'm here trying every day, and it's never gonna end. So I decided to.
See, that's why at some point, I don't know how much time I actually spent, or maybe wasted is the right word, for the CX to find or to fine tune and try. Maybe this is better. And at some point, with the LG G4, I filmmaker mode. That's it. I don't care. Game mode. I don't care. I don't have time anymore to really find or try to fine tune something to have maybe a little bit of a better picture. I didn't even tested the new tone mapping options so far. I didn't. I'm using HDRT all the time. I know there are maybe better ways to do it, but the problem is also to think about that. You know, I was thinking about doing maybe a special video just focusing on this. But first of all, you would need to have on G4 to actually benefit from my video, you know. And in the same time, I can maybe do 2 videos on games in HDR settings in general, because this is it's taking so long time to find, actually, to understand first of all what you're doing, and then to bring this in a video. You know what I mean? And then with comparison and stuff like that. Oh my God, they have so many options now. The TVs is just. But I'm happy that you have now actually just out of the box S90D or whatever is almost perfect. LG G4 is perfect. You know what I mean? There's no point to do anything anymore.
Let me tell you, the most impressive thing is for example, I use a phone app to measure the white balance, not the white balance, how warm it is, the color temperature. Okay. And of course, the color temperature, you can get the same color temperature with a completely different RGB or white balance. I understand that. But the thing is, whatever they did with the S90D, it looks so white. So if I have a full screen white or a gray, it looks gray. White looks white. Okay. And it looks so correct to my eyes. It's just unbelievably good. And it's so hard to make it look bad. So the thing is, yeah, the thing is, when you feel like you have to change settings, is because there's something wrong with it. Yeah. And sometimes you cannot point your finger at what it is. Yeah. And I have to change so much the settings on the C1 because there was something I was always off to me. There's 90C2, but with this S90D, it was like just turn it on and I'm like, wow, this looks awesome. Yeah. I don't have to do anything.
The thing is, and this is a problem. So first of all, thank you very much, Black Diver, for the super chat. You're very welcome. And we have in layman's terms here. Hey, Adam, how are you doing? Hey, boys, great stream. I'm listening while mowing the grass. Oh, I need to do this as well. That's what you have to do if you... Anyway, Ariel, I'd love to change the settings on my TV. However, in Australia, if you open service menu, no warranty. Oh, my God. I did this on my G2. No one was looking at the service menu. You know what I mean? They just replaced the stuff. Because the people that are coming, they don't care anyway. You know? They don't care.
Yeah,
because there's not LG coming, you know, it's a third party anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be an issue, man.
No, I mean, in general, he's right. If you do this, they can say no warranty anymore because you have done something. But who is going to check this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. But yeah, he's right. Be careful.
I mean, on the G4, the only thing I would do is turn off TPC and GSR.
I even had done this so far. So because what I found is so the TV it's in general much better in terms of brightness than my G2. Okay, so with the G2, I had the thing when you work desktop mode with the PC and you move your folders or whatever, you can see white folder, the TV dims. This is not as visible on the G4 because the peak brightness or the overall brightness is already much higher. So I don't need to change anything at the moment. It's just fine.
Yeah, it's fine. And the thing is, our eyes are not very good in noticing brightness change slowly over time like that. Is very hard to tell. But it's there. So yeah, I would do it. By the way, let's go if in layman's term can go with us to CES.
Yes,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, and we're going to the CES in 2026. We decided we're doing this. CES 2026 Las Vegas. So the CES is, I think, 2-3 days, and then the rest of the 2 weeks, what I'm staying there is Las Vegas.
Let's go. I don't gamble though. I don't like a casino gambling.
No, just to watch. I'm not just going for the CES to Las Vegas if I'm already flying how many hours. You know what I mean? Would take the family and whatsoever. Todd is asking, Marcus, do you feel that taking time calibrating and making videos take away from you enjoying games? Absolutely. That's how it is. I played actually literally one game the other day instead of doing a video. I played Dragon's Quest, the HD remake, Dragon's Age 3, I think it is. Top down, thingy thing, and I really enjoyed it. This was the first time when I played for 3-4 hours in a row. You know what I mean? And I was thinking about what game should I start playing, you know, because, you know, and this is really nice game. But yeah, you're right.
I was gonna, so my answer to your question is, what are you gonna do this weekend? I'm gonna finally actually use my TV because I haven't been able to play anything. I was just trying to calibrate the S90C and changing settings. That's what I was doing.
And
I finally have time to now actually use it.
And this is sometimes you maybe some people don't, but this is what I have feeling sometimes. Sometimes I'm getting, and this is something I need to work on, but I'm getting very upset sometimes, you know, with myself when I'm wasting time, you know, because, you know, you have a full-time job, you have family, and then you like to do something, and or if something doesn't work out, you know what I mean? I'm getting so upset because you just want to record a video, you turn on your PC, and some settings are not adding up. Microphone is not working. What the hell, you know what I mean? And then I'm getting so upset because time is really a problem. Absolutely.
Yeah, yesterday my surround was not working. I'm like, okay, I'm turn off the receiver and use the audio from the TV. I'm not gonna waste 1 hour figuring this out now with the drivers and all this stuff.
And that's why I'm going back, really, because some people saying, oh, let's do some setting videos for the G4. There is no settings video to do. Use the game mode and that's it. That's it. Thanks God we don't need to do this anymore, you know, to tweak settings. So the only thing what you need to change and what LG needs to do is use warm 50. Okay, I don't know why they're still using in the game mode. The only mode, I think, which is using warm 0, which is too bluish then, you know, but maybe some people like this. That's it. That's the only setting I would change. But thanks God, the TVs are so good nowadays, you know, the high-end TVs, you don't need to do anything anymore. That's my opinion. And that's how it should be. You know, just focus on the game, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just. This is also what some people actually, not a lot, but some people complained because I went actually from showing HDR settings 40CX for an example. You know, now I'm going more to explain the HDR settings. What are the HDR settings actually doing to set it up for your screen? Because I don't know your screen, I don't know your settings. You know, I can just explain what this setting is doing right now on my screen to make to get you an understanding what you can expect. You know, I think that's a way better, a better way to do it. But some people don't like it anyway.
Yeah, I think that's when I share some settings, I try to share my understanding and my criteria why I changed them. So if you have a different display, you can apply the same idea, and that's why I like a lot reshade and the PC and the mods and all of that, because you can get the image that you want.
So he had an issue, Adam, with his Samsung Q900A. This was the crap TV, you know, he gave back or whatever. If I open it, no warranty. I'm down. CES. That's the most important thing. Let's do it. We go there. We hire a plane from Australia.
Let's go.
I'm going in
that's interesting. So they check. I mean, of course, it depends on the person. But here's the thing: with Samsung, you can actually erase everything, all the history of everything you did on the service menu. You can completely eliminate that. The only thing that will stay is there is a counter for the amount of times you do a factory reset. So the only thing you have to justify with Samsung is why you did a factory reset.
Because something didn't work. Crap Samsung.
How can you justify that? You call customer service, which is a recorded line, and you say, oh, I don't like how things are right now, my apps, I want to delete everything, I want to do a factory reset, how do I do that? And you try to make the person over the phone to walk you through that or something. And then that's how you can justify, I did a factory reset. They will not know anything, any history. The hours of the TV will be erased. All the changes you did in the service menu, you have to reverse back. Actually, you have to reverse back some of the changes. If you turn off ASBL, that screen brightness, from 7 to 0 on these QD OLEDs, you have to revert that to 7. The AnaPic, you have to revert that. The HM PathPic W Plus and all the EOTF tracking settings, you have to revert that back to where it was, because the factory reset doesn't change that. But after you revert everything back to default, you do a factory reset, they will not know, and they cannot accuse you of any changes other than a factory reset.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it.
So he also, check out everybody of you, check out Star Wars Battlefront 2. This has really impressive HDR. So I haven't checked it actually or analyzed it if there's any HDR black level rays or stuff like that, but it looked so great on his 83-inch LG G4. Absolutely fantastic. And I never played this game before actually. I think it's on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. I think so.
Yeah, I did play that game. I watched the previous live stream you did, and not only the HDR, that game looks sharp. That game looks very good. It doesn't look blurry like the games we have today. So that's what I'm talking about. When I complain about these games looking blurry, go back and play that game.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Go and play some older games and see what image quality really means. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
exactly.
Anyway,
so just compare that Star Wars with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, for example.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
No, Jedi Survivor is really a blurry mess. Full stop.
It's a blurry mess.
It's absolutely not nice. Anyway, so let's come to an end. That's how it is. I'm going to mow the lawn as well. Adam is.
You're gonna work.
I have to do some stuff. Before the friends coming over, we have to clean. Once in a year we clean. No, we have to clean a little bit. Christmas is coming. It's 22nd. Just 2 days to go. So when are you celebrating Christmas? So in Germany, it's actually the 24th.
Yeah, we're gonna do it on Tuesday. So Tuesday we celebrate. Wednesday is holiday, so we don't work on Wednesday.
Yeah,
we celebrate Tuesday night.
Oh, I'm not working until the 6th next year. That's it. Finished on Friday. We have a big party. That's it.
Let's go.
Okay, but 2026 we're down. CES, that's it. Okay, see you 2026.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
A lot to do in terms of videos and something like that. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, everyone.
Not sure when is the next Sunday. Actually, it's the 29th. Yeah, why not? It will work out. 29th. If you don't have any plans, let's do it.
Yeah.
Wednesday 25th with Adam is probably a little bit problematic because all Christmas stuff. But let's see. So don't expect too many videos over the Christmas season or holiday season, okay? But I do my very best to be quicker than Digital Foundry if there's something coming up, okay? And so far, I managed. Good.
You're doing great. You're killing it, man. Your videos are doing great.
Yeah, but now I have to I'm have to slow down a little bit. It was too much, I can feel it, I have to slow down. All good. But now holiday season, I relax a little bit, and then next year full power again. That's how it is.
Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, real. Then thank you very much, everybody. See you next time, huh?
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.